Union 2003 field demonstration at Rollag, Minnesota, USA. Western Minnesota Steam Threshers did a reenactment of the famous Rumely and Oliver 50-bottom hitch done at Purdue University in 1911. This was using 3 big 3060 Model E Rumely oil pull tractors and pulling 50 bottoms of Oliver plows. Here are some early photographs of the actual plowing exhibit done at Purdue. You can see Rumely had their advertising signs put on the back of the tractors, so kerosene tractors were in their infancy at this time, and they were trying to show the power to the public versus a steam engine. These were all kerosene tractors. And shot from behind, showing the approximate hookup. The first tractor was on about the 10th bottom, second one 20th, and the third one on the 30th bottom. Another picture from the side. Here's a picture of the 50 bottom plow and the rigging. A chain and pulley system was used. You'll see more of that as we go into the video. These photographs were all courtesy of the Floyd County Museum in Charles City, Iowa. Rumely advertising postcards. This shows a Rumely cream separator, the early Rumely tow-hole tractor used for orchard work, Rumely corn sheller, and a Rumely gas engine. Obviously an oil pull tractor pulling 6-bottom engine gang plow. This is a Model F tractor. That would be the single cylinder. Here's the big 3060E pulling 8 bottoms, pulling 5 drills, making a turn. You'll see more of that as the tape goes on as we attempt to turn around the 50 bottom plow. Baling press. On Wednesday prior to the plowing on Saturday, we did a demonstration by taking the 3 tractors to the field. This was a double field belonging to Murray Cason of Holly, Minnesota, about 8 miles away from the show site. Here it shows us pushing one of the tractors out to the lowboy to load. The tractors are pushed on the lowboy because of the steel wheels on the steel deck can be very, very slippery, and it's much safer to just push the tractor up on the lowboy. This is one of the actual tractors that will be used in the plowing demonstration. You can't see the push tractor, but it's back there pushing him. Front wheels going up on the deck. You can see the steel rails, and that's what makes it slippery with the steel wheels, and that's why we push instead of using the tractor's own power. Here's another photograph of one of the beautifully restored tractors we're going to use on the hitch. You can see some of the other big tractors at the Western Minnesota show there in the background. It's a beautiful shot of the radiator. Burns kerosene at all loads. Rumely used oil in the cooling system so they could run higher combustion temperatures to burn the low-grade fuels that were available at that time. Beautiful restoration job. Okay, here we are chaining down the tractor on the lowboy, getting ready to go to the plowing site. Thank you. We're backing the tractor up to the lowboy, all hooked up with hydraulics. The Rumely's chained down. You can see the chains coming off the rear drawbar. There, he just clicked into position. Off to the plowing field we go. Here we are turning into the stubble field. Okay, each of these tractors weighs 28,000 pounds. So the 3 tractors we're going to plow with will be a total of 84,000 pounds of tractors. The stubble field had been baled. It was wheat straw, and the straw had been baled, which made it very easy for our plowing. We weren't worried then about stubble balling up in the plows, and it didn't. Okay, this is another one of the tractors that's going to be on the hitch, and here you can see how it started. They're actually started by walking the flywheel or pulling it through compression. There is compression release. It hasn't gone yet, but I think it's getting close. There, it took off. It's running now. So they start these big engines on gasoline, and then as they warm up, they're switched over to kerosene. This Rumely is going to be backed off the lowboy. That's much safer than driving it on the lowboy. So you can see the exhaust. The engine's cold. The kerosene is still cold and makes a lot of smoke until it warms up. Okay, we're driving the tractor out now. We're just about to back into the 50 plow hitch. You can see the beautiful stubble field that we're going to be plowing in today. And of course, up to this point, this is our Wednesday demonstration day. We're not sure this will work. We think it will, but we haven't done it yet. So we're all anxious to see what's going to happen here this afternoon. This is the third tractor backing into the hitch, or the lead tractor, the number 1 tractor. The other 2 tractors are already hooked up. And you can see the other 2 in position. Here we're backing into the chain and pulley system. It's used to pull it. And the guys are going to bolt 2 pulleys, 1 to each side of the 7-foot drawbar. Here's a shot of the Rumely engine. You can see the 2 cylinder heads, the bore and stroke. It's a 10-inch by 12-inch stroke. Still hooking the chains up. 2 1-inch bolts were used to fasten the each pulley to the drawbar of the Rumely. The chain's a 1/2-inch log chain, and it's 175 foot long, and runs through a complete pulley system, which you'll see coming up here, that goes back to the hitch bar, and the chain is dead manned on each end. There's a picture of it. You can see at the lower part of the photo where it's bolted, and then it's bolted clear down at the other end of the beam. The beam's about 50 foot long, or the bar. Shot of the 50 bottoms. These are all John Deere plows. This was 5 John Deere plows put together. Looks like the guys are getting ready to go to me. On Wednesday, we used guide sticks on the front of the tractor, so Tractor 2 and Tractor 3 had something to steer to for position. On Saturday, we didn't use those. The other operators didn't feel they were necessary, and they weren't. Okay, here's a picture of the third scale Model F single-cylinder Rumely hooked onto one of the big Rumleys. It looks like he's going to try and pull him. We'll see what happens here.
Try to bring the front end off the ground. Josh, you lift it, baby. You tell me when you're ready. You're kidding? Serious? Anytime. You ready? Yeah. Oh, door.
Looks like he's pulling it right down on the ground there. Nothing's happened yet. We'll keep watching. We killed the engine, but we're going to restart here. This little third scale was made by Elmer Larson of Fargo, North Dakota. Now we're backing out of the chain. This scale is going to ride on the back of the 50 bottom plow during the plowing. We're going to take a forklift and put it up there and bolt him down, and he's going to ride along for the ride while we're doing the 50 plow hit. Here's a picture of the branch house in Fargo, North Dakota, the Advanced Rumely Thresher Company, right over the door. There you can see the AR 1920, Advanced Rumely. Here's a shot of the 50 bottom plow from the opposite end. The platforms are all hooked together so fellas could walk from one to the other. On the right is Hartley. That was our out front plowing boss. He told us when to start and stop. Another picture of the bar and the chains from the opposite end. Here's Jim Bryden. He's the main plowing boss. He walked along beside the plows and watched and signaled Hartley out front if there was a problem. Looks like we're getting ready to move out here. These three tractors put together weigh 84,000 pounds, have over 5,600 cubic inches of displacement with 6 cylinders. And there again, a 10-inch bore and a 12-inch stroke. The plows will be cutting a 58.5-foot swath. That's 50 14-inch bottoms. Here we are putting the signs on the tractors. These were all installed with just C-clamps so that we didn't have to put any screws in the canopies. You can see it takes several guys to hold these up and put them on. There's a close-up shot. Beautiful things. Yellow and red Rumely oil pull tractor, power farming machinery. Here we are taking off for the first time. You can see the chains all equalizing in the pulleys. And there's a chain that's hanging loose on the plows, but we're pulling it ahead so that the plows can be adjusted and they're pulling straight and correctly. We'll watch a little bit here and see what happens. I think the first thing we're going to do is make a couple turnarounds before we start plowing. There had been some concern about if we could turn this rig around in one piece without balling it all up, but we thought we could, so we're going to try it here pretty quick.
This music you're hearing is an example of what's available every night at several locations during the show. Look around for it.
Here's an airplane that just stopped by. He was flying by and saw this activity in the field and landed to take a look. Okay, the plows are now all supposedly in adjustment to pull straight, and we're pulling ahead and going to try this turnaround. Here we go. The rig has to turn to the left, and obviously the first tractor leaves his throttle wide open and he cuts the arc. The number 2 tractor and the number 3 tractor, number 2 has to back off his throttle. He doesn't have as big a turn. And number 3, or the inside tractor, he has to pull his clutch every now and then. This needs to be fairly well synchronized to keep the chains from getting slack, or one tractor from pulling ahead or one from falling back too far and getting our hitch in trouble. But it's working out pretty well. They're coming right on around there. Looks like they're about halfway through the turn. We were probably more positive at this point that we could plow than we were that we could turn. So this is pretty exciting, the first turnaround.
Hey, you made it!
Okay, here we are straightening out again. That was a comment from an excited spectator. Now our out front boss Hartley thought that that was so much fun for us that we could drive down the field and turn around once again before we started plowing. There we go. Here we are coming into the second turn now. Looks like it's going okay so far. You can see the guide stick on that front Rumely flopping up and down, and also the guide stick on the number 2 Rumely. That gives operator 2 and operator 3 something to sight to, but as I said previously, we did not use those on Saturday, didn't feel we needed them. Coming on around through the turn. Straightening out, here's the first plow going in the ground. Those are the first bars. There were 12 people on the plow. They put every lever holds 2 bottoms. They put in 2 at the same time, every lever all the way across the plow to equalize the load on the bar. Then they went back and put the second one in beside themselves. Here we are actually plowing for the first time with a 50 plow hitch. You can see the moldboards are not scoured yet, and so the plowing looks a little rough. It gets better looking the farther we go. Here's all the tractor operators lined up, along with Jim Bryden on the right. This is after we completed our Wednesday demonstration. Jerry Swedberg brought us some sparkling grape juice in celebration of being able to complete our first pass pulling the 50 bottoms.
Jim, get in there! Get in there!
Here's Jim congratulating the tractor operators.
Gotta open them up!
As you can see, everybody looks like they're in a pretty good mood after this his work so far. Lots of smiling faces. Looks like the E in the background still running, keeping warm just in case we need to do some more plowing today. This is Kenny Cass and his dad Art, one of the tractor owners and operators. Here we have Clyde Hall on the left and Leo Stump operating the Murray Johansson tractor. Here we have have Dennis Powers operating his tractor. Okay, this is finishing up our Wednesday trial. Everything's parked, and we've had our sparkling grape juice, and here you can see a picture of the plowing that we actually did pulling the 50 bottoms.
From the days of Kerosene Annie to the last streamline 6A, across the verdant countryside the Rumleys made their way, and the throbbing of their engines burst forth resonant in song, saying, "Sit up and take notice and see the Rumleys roll along." Burning low-cost kerosene for fuel and always cooled by oil, the Rumely oil pulls were at home on any kind of soil, while they're busy turning virgin sod or on a threshing run. The Rumleys always held their own until the task was done. From Laporte, the big green Rumleys in all directions came to the hills and fertile valleys where successes were the same. From the vast fields of the northwest to across the central plains, labor tirelessly the Rumleys, helping agriculture's gains. The 20s saw new lightweights rolling out the factory gate, and super-powered oil pulls rolled for 1928. The 6A and the do-all came to complement the line, and Rumely shore was rolling, and everything seemed fine. But alas, the firm of Rumely was soon to be no more, for financial difficulties did cause them to close the door. The tractors and machinery soon became a memory, and the name of Rumely passed into a part of history. Since the time of Rumley's heyday, many years have come and gone, but in spite of wars and scrap drives, Rumely tractors still live on. At thrashing shows their favorites, as before the watching throng. With dignity and triumph yet the Rumleys roll along. My Rumely recollections go back to when I was 4, and in the years that followed I have seen so many more. To the folks who keep them running I do dedicate this song, and hope that we will always see the Rumleys roll along.
That was longtime Western Minnesota Steam Thresher member Bob Bilden from Bagley, Minnesota, singing a Rumely song that he wrote. Good job, Bob. Here's the plows in the ground on Saturday. We're actually plowing on the actual day, finally. And as you can see, the ground is very, very dry, and the fellows are standing on the plows to try and help them go in deeper. Another shot of the hitch. You can see the front furrow wheel on the plow is in the actual furrow. Here's some close-ups of the actual chain assembly, the chain and pulley assembly that was used, the bar. You can see the clevises on the bar. Everything was adjustable to try and make it pull as straight as possible. The chains acted like an equalizer hitch. As one tractor would get a little farther ahead or a little farther behind, while the chains would stay tight at all times. And this didn't seem to be a problem. Everybody could keep their tractor just about in the right position, but in turns especially, the chain would be running right through the pulleys. You could see it moving real rapidly. The wheels are getting a nice polish that you only get working in fresh wheat stubble like that. Shows some of the pulleys on the bar. I believe there were 13 pulleys in total. And you can see the joint in the bar. The bar was made in 3 pieces with flange plates and then bolted together into the one section.
What could be done to commemorate the show's 50th anniversary and 150 years of Rumely? Jerry Mant suggested a reenactment of the Purdue University demonstration of 3 Rumely 3060 tractors pulling a 50-bottom plow. This was about 2 years ago. Since then, this is the efforts put out by many, many show members who spent countless hours conceiving this idea, figuring out how the chains operated, how they were tied together, and building the hitch itself. Countless hours were also spent working, rebuilding, painting, making those 3 Rumely tractors look like they were just fresh out of the factory and willing to go to work for the first time.
Here's a little third scale Rumely after it was installed on the rear of the 50 bottom plow. And a couple of here's some pictures of some of our future members leaning on the little third scale. Here's an operator, future operator. Looks like we're about ready to go again. We stopped at some intervals so more people could come to the plow site and see the plowing as others left as they were being bussed over. As you can see, the weather was almost perfect on the day we plowed on Saturday. I think the temperature was about 75 degrees and sunshine. Just absolutely a beautiful day. Bottoms are getting scoured up now, and we're starting to do a much better job, much cleaner job of plowing. Okay, here in the background you can see the bucket truck. A lot of the photography was done from the bucket truck, and we have quite a few of those shots coming up. Really gave a different overview of the whole thing from some height. An interesting perspective to look at it from the bucket truck.
about 15 feet so I can get out of the way.
Okay, these are some stills coming up that were taken from the bucket truck. You can see this is really quite a spectacular shot. Also this one, we've made a couple of rounds here. You can see the people and the cars in the background. This one was obviously taken off the back of platform of a tractor. Another still taken from the bucket truck. And another still taken from the bucket truck, plowing towards the road. And in the next one, we're going to be even. There we are. We're getting closer to the road.
Were taken by Gene Cirilla from the bucket truck. Notice the one fellow is not pulling the levers down. Oh, there he goes. Pull, pull. Ah, they got out of the ground. Notice this sharp corner they're making right there.
Hartley was the front hitch boss. He was out front. The drivers watched him. He told us when to stop, start, or turn. Jim Bryden was the other plow boss. He walked behind and alongside the plows looking for problems. He made adjustments, and he was in visual view of Hartley at all times in case the plows had a problem. Jim N. rode the plow and coordinated with lever operators. The plows would be raised to put the plow into the ground and lowered to take the plows out of the ground. Every other lever was lifted at the same time to put an equal load on the hitch and the bar. Corky rode the lead tractor, and he was the speed coordinator. He would signal the other tractor drivers for a little more, a little less throttle. 10 gallons of kerosene was used per hour per tractor. Water was injected with the kerosene into the cylinder to reduce the pre-ignition. This gives the tractor a lot more power.
Say, look there in the background. See them Ford Speedsters? They're old cars from the early days.
Now moved from the plowing site over to the Western Minnesota Steam Threshers Reunion Showgrounds, and we're showing some of the Rumleys that are going through the parade. This is the Rumley gas pole headed up the hill. Parades are 10 and 2 at the show site. Here's a 3060 Model E. There were 12 3060 Model E's on the showground, probably one of the largest group of those assembled in many years. So just sit back and enjoy and watch the parade. Here we go. More Rumleys coming up the hill.
The Rumely Company history begins in 1848 when Minrod and Jacob Rumely left Baden, Germany to begin a new life in the United States. Minrod found employment as a machinist because he had been trained as a millwright, and he worked at the Russell Thrasher Company. Eventually, he found a blacksmith shop, and him and Jacob were very busy doing custom work for the railroad. And in 1853, the M&J Rumely Company was founded. The brothers began producing thrashing machines in 1854, and by 1859, they had won first prize at the U.S. Fair in Chicago. Realizing the booming market for agricultural machinery, the brothers produced their first portable steam engine, which was a straw burner, in 1872. In 1882, Minrod bought out interests of his brother and rechristened the company M. Rumely Company. In the 1890s, the firm was a major player in the agricultural world. They had 3 steam engines, thrashing machines, and other machinery. Minrod was a very Christian, caring man, and they said his employees loved him dearly. Him and his wife would visit the sick. They provided a hospital for the employees. They made many donations to the city of LaPorte, which are standing today, including the city hall and a fire station. Minrod Rumely passed away in 1904, and he passed the reins of his company to his son, Joseph and William. Joseph had a son, Edward, who went to Oxford, Germany to study medicine and came back with a medical degree. While there, he made the acquaintance of Rudolf Diesel. Edward developed a keen interest in the internal combustion engine and felt that's where the future would be in the machinery industry. And so in 1907, he returned to LaPorte and took his position in the company. He put all his efforts into making a reliable farm tractor. Edward's uncle, William, related that he had met a man called John Secor in New York City, and who was experimenting with oil-burning marine engine combustion engines. And William thought, this might be something to look into. So Edward met John, and they talked about his patent for the farm tractor. Secor joined the Rumely Company in 1908 and began work in earnest. A new shop was built especially for production of the tractor, which was named the oil pole. The heart of the tractor was the new carburetor developed by Secor and his nephew, who happened to be the foreman of one of the Rumely shop, William Higgins. The engine burned kerosene, or coal oil as it was known in that day. Kerosene was cheap. Gasoline was very expensive because Henry Ford was putting a lot of gasoline to use in his cars, but kerosene was reasonable. The Secor Higgins carburetor broke the kerosene into a mist of fine globules. On light loads, only kerosene was drawn in the carburetor, but on heavy loads, as much water as kerosene was drawn into the mixture. The oil pole was the first engine able to run economically and burn kerosene, which was cheaper and, of course, much more plentiful than gasoline. Because the oil pole ran hotter than most engines, in order to successfully burn kerosene, oil was used as a coolant in the radiator. Oil has a higher boiling point than water, and the radiator would never rust out. The field tests were an immediate success, and the plant opened February 21st, 1910, and 100 tractors rolled out. The first oil pole, which does exist today, was named Kerosene Annie. This machine was developed into a 2545 Model B. Shortly afterwards, this was replaced by a more powerful 3060 Model E Rumely and a one-cylinder 1530 Model F. All other oil poles had two cylinders. Sales went well. In the western United States, Canada, wheat fields were opening up. Plowing and threshing engines were in great demand, and the oil pole had many advantages over the contemporary steam rigs of the day. The Rumely Model E, which was built in had a bore and stroke of 10 and 12 inches in each cylinder. Rumely rated the big engine at 30 horsepower and the drawbar at 60. But this was extremely conservative because during the Nebraska test, the Model E tested 49.9 on the drawbar and 76.6 pulley horsepower. This was a t-shirt that was available commemorating the demonstration. Also, we had a special buckle for the 50th anniversary and the 150th of Rumely. There were buttons available, hats, and there was one special button that was only available out at the plowing demonstration, and that is a highly desirable button, and it has the picture of the original 1911 50 plow hitch. Continuing with the history of the Rumely Company, the Model E was not a small or an inexpensive machine in its day. It weighed 13 tons, was 19 feet long, 13 feet tall, and cost $4,300. That would be approximately $85,000 in today's money. Because of the success of the company, dozens of small line items were produced. Plows, hay presses, stationary engines, cream separators, corn shellers were all added with existing companies. In 1911, they also acquired the Advanced Thrasher Company of Battle Creek, Michigan, and the Gar Scott Company of Richmond, Indiana. In 1912, they went into the lucrative Canadian markets, and Rumely acquired the American Able Engine Thrasher Company of Toronto, Ontario, and the Northwest Thrasher Company of Stillwater, Minnesota. All these acquisitions left the company a little short of cash, and especially during the tough times of the farm market. By 1915, a collapse came and the Rumely family lost control of the company. The company was reorganized as Advanced Rumely Thrasher Canadian Rumely Company and became part of the sale. Manufacturing was still centered in LaPorte, Battle Creek, and Toronto. Most of the other sites closed. The first chore of the new company was to update the oil pole to become more competitive, and they did this by introducing the new heavyweight line in 1918. These were very advanced tractors for their day. Once again, they met great acceptance from the farmer. In 1923, Advanced Rumely bought out the Altman Taylor Company to take out a competitor, but this left them short of cash during the 30s, and by 1931, they were broke, and Ellis Chalmers bought them out.
Okay, out at the plowing field, the little Rumely wasn't very successful in moving one of the big Model E's, so here he is back at the showgrounds, and he's going to try this one more time. This is a little third-scale Model F built by Elmer Larson. Chain's hooked up to one of the big Model E's behind it, and it looks like we're getting ready to throw in the clutch. Let's see what happens here. Look at there. I think we're doing the job this time. Success. Yep, look at this. There it goes.